Here we go. This is a another free art lesson. We're drawing heads and faces today. I have to do something successful on YouTube today because I uploaded another time-lapse failure, which I'm not doing any more of those. If you upload a video and within the first 15, 20 minutes you have one view, that's not something that people want. So anyway, try to wait for some people to roll in here. Or maybe, you know, everybody's just off Facebook. Facebook. My brain is fried. Maybe everybody's just not on YouTube. Maybe it's just my channel. It's only completely demoralizing. All right, I've posted this up in the places it needs to go. You do the same. I will start the tutorial part in just a second. This video title has me singing head and shoulders, knees and toes in your head. Well, you know, whatever works for you. Jeremy Artist, hello. I don't know what to do with this camera right here. Here, that's better. As you can see me draw, you can see the tablet right here. All right, so we're going to start with drawing heads and faces. So we're going to start with just the basic. Oh, thank you, Jeremy. I appreciate that. So you draw an egg. This is super basic beginner stuff right now. You're going to divide the egg in half and then in half. The halfway mark right here is where eyes would go. So just put a little dot for the eyes. And then halfway between here and here, the nose. Halfway between there and there, the mouth. This will give you some good solid proportions. The ears are going to be from the ear to the bottom of the nose, ear to the bottom of the nose. So you can see some good proportion. Then eyebrows, I don't know if I really need to tell you where eyebrows go. They move up and down. And then in between this middle line and this line, again, dividing into halves, and there's your hairline. So this gives you a pretty basic, hello Lisa, pretty basic head setup. Now from here you can go in and make it as realistic or detailed as possible with the cheekbones. Some wrinkles, things like that. So we'll boom this guy over here. You don't need all these extra lines. But where's my red pen? Is right here. Dividing in half. You've got roughly one eye width apart right there. Half, 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 half. Easy way to think about it. And then the ears there. Brian is all about the basics. It's true. Oops. All right. So one thing that I notice people do a lot when they draw, especially starting out, drawing noses. Somebody said yesterday they had trouble in one of the comments with drawing noses. So one of the things that a lot of beginners do when they draw noses, and a lot of times I'll always draw this, at least this. I don't draw like the dividing line there, but this, like if I'm doing an angle, I'll get to the nose in just a second. This helps to give me a good sense of where I'm looking, where the character's looking, and where to lay things out. So I always do that kind of basic guideline. So the nose, you've probably seen a lot of people do noses like this. And it's understandable because when we look at someone's nose, we see the bridge of the nose, we see the line here when we're looking. But this looks really, it doesn't quite look right in line art. This looks better. Your brain will fill in the nose. If you're going to draw the side of the nose, you want to draw maybe one side. That looks a little better. Let your brain fill in a little bit. Or, especially when you're drawing, hold on, let's get another thing here. If you're drawing a lady, even less, just very little of the nose. For ladies, the eyes and the lips. Like I could get away with drawing a female character just with that, just using very big, thick, black shapes. Caleb says, hey, new time sub after watching Doug T's last stream with you. Welcome, welcome. Seen a few tutorials already. Preemptive thank you for being practical comics professor and for free. You are very welcome. So, again, the less detail I think you can give with a nose is a good place to start. It's good to start simple and build up rather than trying to overdo it with this. And you'll see this. Look at a lot of amateur art famous on faces. You'll see this kind of nose thing here, and it's too much. All right, so let's make another layer here. Now the exception to that, of course, is if I'm want to give this character like maybe he's like one of those old dock worker types. So we'll give him his beanie. Down here in North Carolina, we call this a toboggan, by the way. I don't know why. So, and he's got like that little hook, crooked nose, or maybe it's been broken. But even then, I'll break up this line. Don't make it too... Well, even if I do that, it gives a little more character. But he is, those lines are showing kind of like that, giving character that broken nose. And actually what kind of makes it work, now that I think about it, is that line I put in there. See that? That looks a little odd. But if I put this little ridge in here, like he's had a broken nose, it breaks it up. Different nose types, you know, you've got that kind of little, I'm sure there's a name for it, little hook nose. You can come out with a little pointed nose. You can do a more bulbous nose. And one trick that I have learned about drawing noses is that regardless, we talked about doing the structure. Always use the structure. So even if I say I want to draw a female character, I'll do my real quick. Bit there. So if I start with a circle or an oval and then just kind of do the basic layout of where that circular sphere at the end of the nose would be, that gives me a place to start from. Come around underneath, and then maybe I have there, and then I could erase like a lot of that and be a little more interesting. Kind of like Brian after a mishap in the ring. Are you talking about the nose? I've never had a broken nose. I've had other injuries, but never a broken nose. All right, so what else with drawing faces? We're doing as a face turns to the side. This is a pretty difficult as it turns, as a turnaround. So you got to think planes. So if we divide this head up into a box or angles, more of an even robot kind of thing. This would be a side, put it in shadow, and then there would be shadow here. Go on to you can go on to Google or whatever and look up like lighting on faces, and then you can or even just take a normal picture and go into Photoshop or whatever your program is and throw the contrast like way up, like make it almost like a black and white, it's just anything that's in shadow becomes this dark black shape. So like if you were looking at me down here in the corner, down here, and this arm would just be black, and then all this would turn to just black shapes. You know what I'm saying? And then I'll give you could actually go and copy some of those just to get some practice of how to represent faces with big shapes. So we've got the plane here. Hiroshi, what's up? All right, so different angles from the side. Never forget that the head has to carry a brain in it. So the neck meets up here, just above the jawline. The ear is about midway. And again, it depends on the character. Even on thin characters, the chin, there's a tendency, I think, to want to do this. But actually, it's going to come into the neck. And the jaw, you have to indicate a little bit of the jawline, maybe with a thinner line. And then you can get rid of that one. This is still be a thin character because the chin kind of connects down to the neck. And then this is a soft edge. This wouldn't be very hard. Well, some heads carry a brain. Well, they all carry something. So, all right. So we've got the side head here. This is the brow. Now for the nose, the front of the whole face kind of sticks out like a little muzzle. So we got the nose that would come up there, and then the lips, and then the bottom lips. So typically there, especially on women, there's kind of this angle up before we come back this way. And eyes that sit a little further back, like on top of this cheek here. If you look at how the cheek would come up here, and the eyebrows are more forward. And there's, of course, there's infinite variety. Greetings from the gloom, says Cosmetic. Where's the sun? I don't know. I haven't seen the sun. I don't even remember what it looks like. Here for your free lesson. Oh, that's what I got. Free lessons. All right. So when we're mixing up that same principle from the side, we'll start with a circle and come down like this, and have a little point to it. More of a triangle. So this is just a circle and a triangle essentially. But if we wanted to make it like a heavier character, just on top of that, it's got some more weight there. Heavier brow. And we erase this line. Things get a little less distinctive, a little less defined. Hello, Alex. Flightless Prod. This is fantastic. Thank you. You did a great commission for my wife with the 10th Doctor. Well, hello. I remember drawing the 10th Doctor. It's been a while since I've done a Doctor Who commission. All right. And the question is, how far can you push line drawings in faces till it becomes too much? Just remember, every time you add a line, you're adding years. Especially with Cheese It Now, hello. Pop open a beer and see that Brian's live streaming. All right, so if we take, we can take this female face here. These cheekbones, if you ever see these cheekbones drawing, they usually, a good rule of thumb is have them come down kind of meeting towards the edge of the mouth. And don't get the chin too low. And in fact, and this is, okay, this is where we're talking about individual characters versus what's typically thought of as good proportions on a beautiful, well-proportioned face. And that's kind of what one component of what people find beautiful. So this actually would be, if I wanted to adjust it, bring this up a little bit. Now, so we've got, let's say we've got a younger character here. So we're actually going to remove some lines. So she's younger. Running toward the TARDIS. Oh, I think yeah, I remember that. All right, so simple hair. So if you want to add the reason that it's harder to draw female faces, younger female faces, because you have to convey the information with as few lines as possible. Because if I start adding this, she might be in her 40s or 30s. Now she's probably, oh, let's see how much age it's already added. The side view guy at the bottom left looks like he'd be voice acted by Ed Asner. So you can get away with a little more with guys. Sorry, ladies. This guy could still be fairly young. I mean, you have to really start adding more for a guy to look a lot more room for error. So let's take that away. A view like this one, a good challenging view. Kind of a 3/4 looking up that way. And getting a good, you got to think in 3 dimensions, right? So when I come around the back of the head, once I hit this corner where the temple would be, I'm going to start thinking, heading towards that vanishing point over there. What about scars and old facial injuries? Okay. Why are you starting streams right before I leave for lunch? I'm sorry. Because I'm out to make you unhappy, Lightning Fan. Those lines are more like 50s. Gee, Brian, don't rush us. So you just gotta think from here. If I lightly shade in things that are going to be on the planes. Actually, let me just draw this in here. The nose will poke out a little bit. You'll see the bottom of it. This line is a good, where the nose connects, is a good way to show the angle. I guess it's going to be right there on that side of the face. And remember that the lips are, I mean, there's a mass of this area in here. The skin comes up and pushes up, so the lips always kind of protrude out. But the lip area around, too, till it dips back under here. The eyes are too small on that one. Yeah, there's a link there to my latest art book. By the way, still available on Indiegogo. I'm waiting on a delivery for my Kickstarter, THUNDERPUNCH. It's on the way. All right, so what'll probably give people trouble is this eye right here. So remember, just draw it in. You can draw the circle in, and I think that's actually even a little bit off, but let's go through and start thinking about how these the planes like this would be underneath. This is here. So everything that's overhanging that way would be in shadow. And really, even their shadow would dip down if I was going to do actual shading onto the neck, because the chin would affect that. Also remember that the eyebrow goes with the form, so I'm actually coming around like this. Around them sticking out a little bit. It's Thancraft. Hello, welcome. Eyes annoy me, especially in side views. Talked a little bit about this yesterday. Side view eyes. Let's go side view. Let's do a female here. Eye to mouth there. All right. So the eye would be kind of right here. Eyebrow would be further forward. But remember that it's curved. It's a ball. Eyeball. So you want to have it curved, and then the retina would be an oval. Because as it moves along the eyeball, it's going to be foreshortened as it goes around. If she was looking this way, she's giving you the side eye. Give you the stink eye, because you probably said something stupid. All right, and so, and even this is a little too high. Oops. Yeah. There. And when you're drawing on the side view, like, think to the other eye. Some of the eyebrow you could probably still see over there, and that eyelash just even a little bit there. All right, so let's say we want to change up this expression. See what I can do here. So I usually kind of indicate the part where this cheek up here comes under, just a few lines. So usually if there's a smile, you're going to have to draw a little bit of a crease there. And that won't really add age unless you start like connecting up there a little bit. But remember that the lip and the teeth are curved, so the lip is going to go around. And if you have a smile, you're probably going to want to squinch up the eyes a little bit. If it's a real smile. Definitely the stink eye. And with a smile, on a female character too, you can get away with that little, just a little crease under the eye. And it won't add too much. That's actually looking more of a boy though in this particular one, but the point still stands. So from this angle again with the eye, it would be more of an oval. And then you could get in here the cheekbone, just add a little shadow in the hairline around there. All right. So we talked about noses, talked about the proportions. Don't do this. What else? Looking down. Things are going to start getting hidden. So this line right here is basically, I'm kind of outlining the side of the facial features. So the nose would come down. Maybe even cover up part of the, comes down far enough it could cover up part of the mouth. My wife is asking if the dog has had lunch. No. um, things start getting obscured a little bit, especially in heavy shadow. Let's not do the shadow right there. Let's. So most of what you're going to see is the head. Looking up. So a lot of times looking at the ears are going to go, oh, again, the ears will be up further. So that, when I talked about the ears being kind of even with the eyes on the bottom of the nose, that only applies straight on. I mean, it gets distorted this way. All right. So when we're looking up, the nose is going to like, everything's going to kind of get compressed right here. The nose will be up about width or further than the eyes. You'll see more of the upper lip and the lower lip. And, you know, there's, the jaw would actually kind of go like this. You could draw it in, or you could just leave it where you're kind of indicating it here, and maybe the chin. If you're doing the color, it would get more filled in. And then the hair. Poke up just a little bit. Oh, this angle is really helpful. This one right here. Both these one are kind of tough. And also remember, you know, when somebody looks up, their neck is gonna get pulled a little bit. These muscles, you're extending those. But we're kind of following with the mouth. We're following the way the surface of the head here. Sometimes it's really fun to just draw. It's easier to draw old people, especially old men. So a lot of times, especially when my brain is tired, I just want to doodle. I'll end up drawing old men because you can't really mess them up, right? So if I just draw a cartoony old man, right, I'm gonna give him a beard. Just especially beards and hair are really good for practicing gravity. Hello, neckbeard. What's up? So the mustache would fall down here. Maybe the ears are a little longer. Apparently your ears in your nose on a lot of people, older men, tend to keep growing. Eyebrows go crazy. But I'm following this angle of the head. Especially with the way that creases. It's more like if I just do a cross, I mean, I could do that. But if I follow with the creases should follow the curvature of the head and wrinkles in the skin. You can draw a heavier eyelid, some bags under the eyes, wrinkles here. But you can just, I mean, look, a random line. See, and it still looks right. You can't mess up an old man. Or you got to work harder to mess up an old man. Now, if I was going to draw a woman, so what I do is have the more spherical part of this egg shape up here. And then I know the mouth is going to be right here. The width of the mouth is usually, hang on, let me get the rest of my proportion here. It's going to go from the middle of the eye to the other middle of the eye. Lisa reminds me one of the guys from Swamp People. What's up, Alex? Find old people easier to draw as well. The hardest are young women because So We're going to add some heavier lashes. We'll have a little bit of interesting kind of shape of the eyebrow here, just a little thicker towards the middle. Changes direction of where the edge of the face comes in and changes that angle. And then even if I add, this always works. This is one of my little shortcuts, especially when I'm doing live streams. A little shadow on the nose. But this little cheekbone in the ears. And a lot of times you might have to go in and cut some of the mass off the side and get it more of a, sliced off, because it doesn't go way out there like that. It's more that shape. How do you draw scars, acne, and other non-smooth facial features? Okay, let's do scars. So if I'm going to give this guy a scar. I mean, you want to keep it kind of broken and jagged. And that's a pretty easy way. You could actually do some, like mark nicks here. Even darken it in. But anything that's continuous and jagged is going to come across looking like a scar. As far as acne or just like pock marks, you could just do like a little texture. It's going to say that the skin is rough. Don't overdo it, just here and there. I mean, you could do this on her too. Gimli sure looks different without his helmet on. It's amazing the different a hat makes. All right, so that's how I would do it. You're welcome, Gretchen. So anytime you want to, and this is a good thing to practice on, if you're going to have a Phantom of the Opera face, they take like a character that has half a mask on and they take the other, they look normal or even beautiful on this side, but they take the mask off and they're hideous. Like if this is what I wanted this character to be, you could have like this side of her face be kind of pretty, like a Two-Face kind of thing, but this eye maybe droops, and we're just going to start adding some texture. She's had an accident. This could be like a burn thing, a little bit of scarring there. Something like that. Especially the eye. The eye in something like this really helps because if this eye looks right and looks, youthful and healthy, but this one's drooping, it says, tragedy, injury, something like that. I'm gonna go full Two-Facing. That side of her head, mouth drooped. And it's not wrinkles, right? It's just texture. So don't fill it up all the way. Knowing when to stop a texture this is a little bit different than, it applies to the face. Like over here, you wouldn't want to fill this entire thing up. But if I wanted to make this look rough, another beginners always try to do too much. You want to give your eye a place to rest. I don't know what kind of, this would be like I don't know what this would be, like a fabric or something. Twilight Zone episode, Eye of the Beholder. I don't know if I've seen that one. I haven't seen all the Twilight Zones. What do you think are the main facial features that change with different expressions I'm thinking eyebrows, forehead, eyes, mouth mostly. So let's do a simple experiment here. So we've got our eyes, an eye here. All right, so there's that guy. Oh, let's make a different layer for this. Let's just do some heads. Rough heads. So we'll have our static. He's listening to the, he's reading the weather, apparently. All right, lighting fan is heading out. So eyebrows, one eyebrow change. Eyebrows are super important. And you can see here, that's just a happy person. This is a nefarious person. So many different combinations of just eyebrow and mouth. Angry. So if you want to get some practice without too much pressure, it's always good to like maybe pick one thing and don't worry about. I'm not trying to draw like a really attractive face here, or I'm just trying to get expressions down. So you can fill up a page and just see what, as you change a little thing. This guy's angry. This guy's kind of confused and angry. Scared. And all you've done is change the eyebrows. See how many different feelings, expressions you can get with something very simple. And then you can translate that into more detailed characters. Let's fill out these other two. What else could there be? There could be already this looks sad. Little wrinkle. If your eyebrows go up, do a little wrinkle. Zach, hello. Eyebrows are super important. Fact, says Cosmetti. Let's see what else. This could actually go different. This would be crying, sad. This could be painful or angry. You know, that depends on the context. So a good exercise is like I just did. I mean, how many? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 12. Got 12 little faces here. Just fill them up and just see how many different, with as simple as you can, how many different expressions you can come up with. And then you'll start to see the relationship of like, if you have a, where is it? Like this is kind of a, nefarious, like a villain. This is a good villain face. So do by themselves. Any tips for drawing quick hands? We did hands a little bit yesterday. Let's do some. Hands are hard. And baby hands are chubby. Short, chubby fingers. I think chubby. This looks like 5 seconds of watching Amelia Clark in a scene. I don't know who Amelia Clark is. I'm sheltered and old. So quick hand, the box of fries. I'm gonna steal that from Elliot. It's good for remembering the pad, main part, palm of hand is this shape, starts out narrow at the wrist and flares out. And then it's curved, right? Oftentimes the index finger will move independently of the rest. A lot of time, it's and you can do it with your own hand. That your middle fingers, you can do the sign for "I love you." The two middle fingers are easily moved together. The little second easiest, I guess, is these two, or maybe not even those, because those are even. I'm talking about moving independently, because even when I move these two, it's dragging this finger down. Pinky up. Your pinky and your index finger kind of have a mind of their own, right? So if you can group those two middle fingers together, if nothing else, it'll give your like 1, 2, 3. It'll automatically give you Pancho, thank you. Glad you're here. It'll give you a little more character, a little less static to your fingers. So another thing too, so I've got this here. This is a tip that I never really thought about, that I saw, and I think it was the Etherington Brothers book, How to Think When You Draw. That alternating the way that fingers, to the box of fries, Brian. There we go. Like this one's up, this one's down, this one's I don't know how I haven't played with it very much, but it's kind of alternating up, down. Like these two kind of move in tandem. I don't know how. I don't know how I don't know how that all plays out in real life, but it was a way of. You can kind of see it here, yeah. So you can't push it too far, I don't think. But grouping the angle of them, like alternating, like you see what I'm saying here, these two and these two. And then of course there's the thumb. I haven't really talked about the thumb yet. Thumbs give people problems. So the palm of the hand, if you got your box of fries and you turn it over, you can look at your hand here. It's got that sphere and this left hand quadrant over here for this finger, and then your easy thumb. If I wanted to get more detail, you have the knuckle there. But remember, opposable thumbs. So if my hand is like, where's the camera? Right there. Nails on the fingers are facing that way. The nail on the thumb is facing way over there. That's how you grab things. So we got our box of fries. We got a few creases here, because your hand folds. I don't know if you're aware of that. And so when I'm drawing a finger, just remember you can flare out towards if nothing else, flare out towards the knuckle. So you basically have a cylinder that's wider the middle, even though there is a joint there, but that can get. Just pretend all characters are guitarists with great finger dexterity. Yeah. So, draw another cylinder that flares out. This is the middle finger, so it's a little longer. Now, these two fingers tend to arc that way, while these two fingers tend to arc this way. You can already see that almost looks like the pinky, because a lot of times, this is one of my go-to poses just for very quickly doing an interesting hand, like on a live stream. Again, a lot of the coloring and stuff I do is I've kind of got my go-to. I've worked out what I can do really fast. But an interesting way of just having a hand is have that pinky. It kind of, again, does its own thing there. See, it's kind of in. But even this one is these two are arcing in while these two are arcing that way. And then if the whole hand is facing that way, make it more interesting by having the wrist and arm going this way. It's that whole principle of the alternating curves. It's the rhythm. All right, so what else with hands? Fingers tend to, the top of the finger up towards the knuckle has this, it's like concave, and the bottom does the opposite. I mean, it's doing the same thing. Hold on a second. The curve goes towards the middle of the finger. We'll do a fingernail there. Remember, fingernails actually come out on top there. Hey, Jim O'Reilly. And on the bottom, the curve goes in towards the middle. I feel like it'll look at like Jack Davis, like old Mad magazine. They really accentuated that kind of hand. Mort Drucker and all those guys, all the caricature kind of artists. Yeah, I should draw the structure first, Brian. But you get the idea. Terry Turner, hello. So anyway, that's quite a bit of info. We got the proportions of the head. We've got just different characters, angles, textures, a little exercise, and a bonus of the hands. So I'm going to call it there. It's about a 45-minute show. And if you haven't checked out any of my other, I'm uploading clips from different things. So go check out another video of mine and leave a comment, because that helps make the algorithm think people want to see this stuff. And I'll be on again later. Just let me know if there's anything in particular